So the purpose of our visit to Kenya is that Results UK, which is a really important charity within the UK and has had a history of looking at TB in particular, invited myself and a couple of others to come and see what the scene was. And we've had a fascinating few days going and visiting health centres, hospitals, and it's been really, really impressive. And it's a lot of the British hospitals are quite new and very, very shiny, you know what I mean? And whereas the thing that's been brilliant from my point of view is that you've managed to deliver an awful lot of the same things that we deliver in the UK in rural settings, and I was really impressed by the number of people who attend your clinics, how much they really valued the clinics. We looked at mother and baby, we looked at vaccination, immunisation, and I say apart from the settings, it could have been in any other, it could have been in the US, it could have been in the UK, it could have been in France. Some of your hospitals would need, I think a lot of people would think, oh gosh, they're a bit shabby. Well, they are, but shabby doesn't matter because it doesn't affect health. You know, if everything was all shiny, then you're not putting the money in the right place. You're putting money into shiny hospitals and not actually making sure that people stay well and get better if they're ill. I became involved in health in 1997 when I was invited to apply to become the chairperson of a board of a health organisation in the UK, an NHS organisation. And so that meant that we had a board, I chaired the board. We had, like here, lots of small hospitals around which treated people in my region and made a huge difference. There were mother and baby clinics, just exactly, you'd recognise it. And slowly we've managed to get rid of those hospitals and replace them with more modern ones, with more modern facilities, more modern equipment, and health has improved. I think we have a slightly different setup because in the UK we have general practice, and whenever you move house you go to find an NHS general practitioner who's going to look after you and your family and the one that you can talk to. Whereas that doesn't happen elsewhere like that.
How has the healthcare system in the UK improved from the time you first started enjoying the healthcare to date?
I suppose one of the big things is technology, computer analysis, all of that sort of thing, which just makes getting people better much more quick, because you can analyse things quickly, you can put things into a computer and they can come up with suggestions, but I don't think that overall it is a better system. It is just because we have more disposable income. It is where we choose to spend it. As my colleague just said, people are very, very committed to the NHS, and I think probably we take it for granted. We pay for in our taxes, but I don't think people actually appreciate that that doesn't happen elsewhere.
Does technology play a role in improvement of diagnostics when it comes to diseases? And countries like Africa and Kenya, for example, what can they do to improve their technology to be able to improve on early disease diagnostics?
I mean, I don't know whether you visited any hospitals, small hospitals in Kenya, but very often you'll see a sign to say that this is being done with help of investment from the US, from the UK, and I think it's appropriate that that sort of thing happens, and that we feel a responsibility through the Commonwealth to help countries who haven't got the same sort of income that we have.
Why is it important to improve healthcare systems in countries?
Because it helps people get better, and it helps people get better more quickly, and it improves care. I mean, we visited a group of nurses from Kenya who are going to go in the next couple of weeks to work in the UK, and that's really good for us because we are short of nurses, and we're taking people from Kenya to train them in the UK so that they can work in the UK and then come home and bring back all the experience and expertise that they've acquired here, or not here, at home.
In terms of shortage of nurses in the UK, what has contributed to the current status?
I think every hospital has a shortage of nurses, in which means that everybody has to work much harder because you don't have enough. Hence, it isn't just Kenyan nurses that are coming across. It's from other parts of the Commonwealth that are coming to join us. So we have some people from Hong Kong who've been over, and they will sort of assimilate into hospitals and help us with our NHS, because as my colleague has just said, we don't charge people for health. They pay for it through their taxes. I came out without any experience at all of what hospitals in Kenya look like, and I've seen really good hospitals who are able to, with operating theatres, with maternity units that look very similar to home. I think Kenya and the decision makers in the ministry really need to be applauded for what's happening. The hospitals might seem shabby, but I was in a maternity unit yesterday and it was absolutely wonderful. It was, in many ways, much better than some in the UK.
Is more foreign investment needed to fund the healthcare systems in less developed countries?
I think so, and certainly, I think I said, some of the hospitals we visited, there were plaques which were saying how much money had been donated by the US for hospitals. And that's fine. If the US is a very wealthy nation, and if they want to give some money to help countries like Kenya who haven't got the income that they have in the US or the UK, that's okay. That's fine.